Okay, I see the notice. It says that I'm live now. Can everyone hear me? Is there anyone alive out there? Can anyone hear me? Is it going? There's no background audio right now. I'll mention that and a few other things as soon as I verify that people can actually hear me. Yes, okay. It looks as if people can hear me. Good. Okay. So yeah. So this is the Demo 401, the Mega Demo, as it's commonly been known, but now it's been rebranded as Demo 401. It's a very comprehensive demo, and this is just part 1 as well. There's going to be a part 2 coming out on January 1st, New Year's Day. I'll be streaming that one as well. This demo in particular, is part 1, contains primarily first class with some crew spaces as well. So, right, the few things I want to run through. This is the very first build that was sent out to members of the Guarantee group early. And as such, there's some bugs and missing things, like, for example, background music that are not in this build that may be added into the Christmas build or the January 1st build. So this isn't necessarily final. I just want to put that out there. The one you download tomorrow or the one you get on January 1st will probably be significantly improved. This one's also limited. Well, we'll get to that in a second. First, I want to just kind of highlight some of what this notice says. So this demo, the team's been putting together over a long number of years now. Like, I think they say, yeah, as early as 2014, they started working on this demo. And it was a way for them to visualize what everything would look like in engine. That being said, none of the stuff here is optimized. None of the stuff here is really game worthy. The alpha they're working on right now will be vastly improved in a lot of ways in terms of optimization and just visuals in general. I don't want to take too long going over that though. Basically, things will improve in the alpha, and this demo is just a very pretty painting is how James has been describing it. It's a very pretty painting, but making it into a full game, not really something the team would be able to do. So let's catch up. Hello, from Germany and Denmark. Oh wow, people from all over. So I think we're just going to jump right in. This demo is limited just to daytime right now. There will be the nighttime version coming, however, in the January 1st release, I think. The Christmas release is still just going to be daytime, and the Christmas release is only first class, but there will be second and third class as well in that January 1st release. So for now, we're limited to first class. We're stuck in daytime, but when I stream again on January 1st, we'll be exploring in nighttime, and we'll get to see second and third class as well, which I'm very excited about. If you know me, you know that second class is always my favorite, as I say again and again. So let's just jump right in. No reason to hang around on the main menu too much. So I've been trying to think about how I want to go about doing this, because there's a lot of stuff to see in this demo. And I'm not really sure the best way of going about it. I think what we're gonna do is start at the top and work our way down. So we're just gonna sprint up the stairs before anything else. So we'll see a little bit of stuff as I just run up the staircase, but we're gonna try and ignore that for now. Oops, a little bit of lag there. So yeah, when I say things aren't optimized, like sometimes if you sprint around the ship, you'll get a little bit of, like, things will pop in and load in front of you, or just not be the best. And that's just because this wasn't really ever meant to be a full game that you could release to the public. Anything, it was more just a visualization. Nothing was optimized. And by the way, let me know if if it's smooth, the gameplay. I can turn some of the graphic settings, like I think I have some of the ray tracing options enabled, and I'm not sure how friendly those are with my streaming here. So if things are like jittery and not very pretty looking, just let me know. But if it's all smooth, then we should be good. Can I recreate Irene Harris's fall later? I need to remember where she fell exactly. Forget what landing it was on. We're gonna start here though with the bridge and the wheelhouse. One frame per second, not really smooth. Okay, yeah, let's turn some of these things down then. Let's turn all of that off first, and I can turn this off. I don't need that right now. We'll do what we can to try and make this better. Hang on, let's turn these off. Let's get all of this closed down real quick. Whoop. Closing other tabs, turning some of the settings off. Hopefully it helps. If not, then I need to try and adjust my OBS settings or something maybe. Is it any better now for you? Better, worse, same? When I tested it earlier, it was fine, but I didn't have, whoops, the like ray tracing settings on. Could it also be like my internet? Hang on, let's look at OBS real quick. Bit better? Better? Okay. I guess streaming and ray tracing don't play nice. I had it on when because I was taking images from this actually for Titanic Voyage earlier. Way better. Okay, yeah. See, my computer isn't like top end, so I can turn the ray tracing settings on, and on my side it looks pretty smooth as I run around. But I guess like streaming and having all the streaming software running on top of it, that clearly didn't play nice. But here we are on like the boat deck. This is the bridge right here. I figured we'll start at the top and work our way down. That's how we're gonna go about this. Not smooth, but better than before. Okay, give me like one more moment then to see if I can do anything else to improve this. What else can I shut down? Anything? Close this, that. Can close out that. This can go for now. As can this. That. Okay, I've closed a lot more things that were running. And let me even try and see if there's anything else taking up a lot. No, it's just the demo taking up a lot. The demo is not optimized well, so I might not be able to get it very smooth on streaming. Again, that might just be a consequence of the demo's lack of optimization, but what I can try and do maybe is lower some of these graphic settings just a tiny bit so you can at least see. I don't know if that affects anything, but you can at least see, and I can even change this to like performance mode too, maybe. Okay, pretty smooth now. So things still look pretty good. It's just like slightly toned down. Ooh, I don't like that. Wait. Which one controlled that? Is it that? Yeah, let's do balance. Let's go balance instead of performance. There we go. That looks good enough. So, yes, this is the bridge. Yes, the water is pretty, isn't it? We finally got water looking nice and pretty after all this time. Nice. Okay, we're good. I probably should have tweaked around with that stuff a little more, but again, I was taking images right before this, and I kind of forgot to go in, change stuff back to play friendly with the stream. When I tested it, I had a lot of settings turned down and other stuff off. But okay, if we're good now, we're good now. Perfect. So I can't say what a lot of the stuff is. Oh, I could do. Can't really. I got the Titanic Honor and Glory deck plans, which you should definitely go and buy as well if you want a very comprehensive set of deck plans. And I'm not going to show like everything in them, but I might just pull them up now and then if there's anything of particular interest in them. But so these are all just the engine telegraphs, obviously, that control things. It doesn't actually say what this stuff here is. I think this fires off the whistle. This here, I know you can look in it. It's like a compass. You can see the directions in there. Pretty cool detail. Or are these the whistles? I don't know. I don't know what all of these things do. You pour? They're on sale right now. This here is the wheelhouse. I think so. The way my understanding is they would use the wheelhouse to navigate while they're out at the open sea. But then they would use the main bridge wheel here when they're navigating close to shore or like at the docks or something. I believe that's it. Because again, like in the movies and everything, you see they're here in the wheelhouse when the collision sequence happens. So, I mean, whoever manning the wheel, I think Hitchens at the time, right? He wouldn't have been able to see the iceberg at all till it was scraping alongside the ship, if even, from his vantage point in here. So they very much relied on the commands of the officers to navigate in the wheelhouse. But the lighting's so pretty, isn't it? Watertight door lever. Ah. Whistle was in the bridge wing cab. Okay, so these are the whistles here. That lever controls the watertight doors. Is that it? That's pretty cool. In the movie, you always see that giant watertight door panel on the back wall, but I know that didn't really exist. I do know these are telephones that can be used to call various parts of the ship. I don't think it's labeled what they call here, but I'm sure in the final game it will. That's another thing. A lot of details are missing. Like, I mean, obviously there'd be something in all of these frames. So there's a lot of little details like that that are just missing from this build of the game. It's very cool. So I guess in my mind, I always imagined them triggering the watertight door somewhere in here, but I guess they would have done that from the bridge here. So, wow. I've learned something now. That's really cool. One thing I do know that I can point out is they have these wooden things you can stick up on the windows to like batten down the hatches if you're in a violent storm. And since the watertight door lever is right here, they double up two of the boards right here. So that would be one for this window and one for this window, since this window's blocked by the watertight door lever. So that's one thing I am aware of. And also, you can't go back onto the officers' quarters. You can look down that way. It looks very nice. Like, it's great to be able to actually walk around on the deck some. But you are limited in where you can go a little bit. So I think that's enough of the bridge and wheelhouse. I don't want to take all day in like one zone. So let's go back inside. And these would be all of the officer cabins. Again, I couldn't say exactly which ones. I could if I pulled up the Honor and Glory deck plan that I have, but I'm not going to right now. I think this is the officer's lavatory and bath right here, though. And then here we have the Marconi room. This is where they'd send all the wireless messages from. It's really nice to finally be able to come in here and look at some of this equipment up close. It's really intricately detailed. You can even crouch down a little bit and pretend that you're like sitting at the desk. That's pretty cool. There's Titanic's call sign MGY, of course. the pneumatic tube that could send messages to. I know it went to the purser's office. I forget if other ones go elsewhere. But these golden tubes would come out back into the corridor over here, and then head forward, and then kind of in the wall start heading down, I think. Oops, I got stuck. So they would start heading down within the wall to the purser's office down on C deck. Oh, something deloaded. Look at that. There it goes. Yeah, there's some visual glitches, because again, this wasn't meant, like if you leave doors open like I did, it takes a second for it to load. That may be improved in future updates. It might not. It's best to just kind of go slowly. By the second monitor, I do have a second monitor actually. I should definitely keep up the... Ooh, second class purser, that could be actually. 2 to the purser's office, 1 off to the second class purser. That would make sense to me at least. But this is the Marconi officers' quarters, where they would both sleep. I think typically though, one would be at the set, one would be sleeping, unless it was like very late at night. I forget, did Titanic maintain 24/7 wireless? I know a lot of ships of the era didn't. That was one of the things after the disaster that it was found that they probably should maintain 24/7 wireless. But yeah, pretty basic cabin for the Marconi operators. But I mean, they get a nice little couch at least. It's nicer than what some of the crew gets, if I'm being perfectly honest. And you have the skylight too. I kind of panned up, but like, I just love to sit down on this couch, and you look up over there, and you just see the first funnel. That's a good view right there. Like views you never really think of unless you actually walk around in the 3D space and get to see these things in person. Of course the funnel's there. Of course you know there's a skylight here, but I've never imagined sitting on the couch and looking up at the funnel before. That would be so cool. And then even when you're working here, you can look up over there and get a little bit of daylight coming in. Just since these people were working on the set so much all the time, it must have been really nice to also be able to just open them up just to get a breeze even. That would be wonderful. And this here, little trouble getting in through the door, there we go, is the silent room. This is like all the equipment that actually makes the Marconi set work. I could not tell you what any of it is. Does the plan show anything? No, the plan doesn't label all of them either. There's too much stuff in here for it to be labeled, I suppose. But this is the very intricate equipment that would make the Marconi set work. And during the syncing, you have Harold Bride, as Phillips is saying that he's losing power. Harold Bride comes in here, and he's moving these levers around on this here to try and boost the signal. He's just adjusting them a little bit, and then Phillips is shouting back to him like, "Oh yeah, it's better now." And then it would start to lose power again. He'd come in here and mess with stuff some more. So even though Phillips was the one on the set, Harold Bride was doing a lot of work too to try and keep things going. And he was running out of this room to deliver messages to like the captain. So he was pretty busy during the syncing as well. A lot of people mostly think of Phillips in terms of the syncing, but I think Bride did a whole lot as well. Of course, Bride was the one who survived. Phillips did not, unfortunately. So this here is some of the boat deck first class cabins in this passenger corridor. I always find it a little weird that these cabins exist. Like, they're pretty small and basic. I guess really you'd probably take them just for the convenience of being right on the boat deck. Like, to some people I'm sure that was a luxury in and of itself, but I'm pretty sure they were considered like budget cabins almost. I don't know, they're weird. I still don't fully understand why they're a thing, but they're here. And this is the elevator gear room. I hope we'll get a good Bride and Phillips next year. I will say that I have been considering doing Harold Bride with one of my friends as Phillips, so I hope if we go through with that plan, we do them justice. I think they would be really fun to play. So all of this controls the elevators, which are basically right below this point. And some cool things in here, like obviously the elevator gear itself is cool. Very old-fashioned looking, I guess. But you have even like a little sink here so that, for example, if an engineer had to come in here and do some maintenance, they could come to the sink and wash off their hands before they leave. Just little things like that. Just details that you never really consider. Like, here's a little workbench. I guess you have to pull something off and take it over here to do a repair. Just, again, it's cool. And, oh, is that? Hang on. That's interesting. So this one, the one on the right that I don't know where it goes off to, it looked like it actually came into here and then loops off and goes downwards. So still no idea where that's going, but we can at least follow it through to here and maybe infer something from that. That's pretty cool. Another neat thing is this room actually has these tiny little skylights. You can't really see anything out of them. I guess it's just to probably save on electricity, if I'm honest. Like, why, when you have natural sunlight that you can use to light the room, would you turn these bulbs on whenever someone has to come for maintenance, you know? They were very cost effective in that way, in how they ran these ships. So yeah, that's the elevator gear room. Now we're into the grand staircase, one of the rooms that a lot of people have waited a long time to see. Myself included. The clock and everything, finally. I can, hang on, FOV 100. Yeah, there. That's a little better. There's the clock. Meet me at the clock, right? So the boat deck landing, pretty interesting in and of itself, because it has a piano, of course. And there's a lot of speculation nowadays that the band never actually played outside. We can go right out here, by the way. So common belief is that the band played right here, basically, during the whole sinking. They were kind of just tucked in here, playing their songs. And personally, I still think that's the case, but there's some evidence recently from some historians that speculate that the band actually was gathered around the piano playing inside the whole night, that they weren't actually out on deck. That could be. I do think that perhaps they played outside, right around here, as the legends commonly say, and then like they started getting really cold, they had to go inside for a little while, and so maybe then they played in here for a bit. Then they went back out near the end. I don't know. It's really hard, and I'm no expert on the band, but it's really hard to like say, you know, what exactly anyone did who died on that night. But there is a lot of documentation about them. And yes, the dome is off. There's no backlighting for the dome anymore. And furthermore, at nighttime, whenever we come here, you'll really get to see the fact that there's no backlighting for the dome anymore. Join me on January 1st to have a look at that. But I know that the nighttime version of the dome now looks very different because there's no backlighting anymore. And that should be represented in Demo 401 Part 2 when we get nighttime. Another thing that is interesting is this painting back here. I believe they said that they put this here because of some new evidence they found from either Britannic... No, not Britannic, sorry, Olympic, I think. I think it adds a lot to this landing, though, because every other landing has a painting on like the inside of the staircase. But since the clock's here, you just move it to the opposite side up here, and it just adds a little bit of extra elegance up here. And this is just a very cozy landing to me. I always am very impressed by the grand staircase. It's great to finally walk around it and just get to look at it from all these different angles. It's wonderful. And yes, I should mention, I think I've mentioned at the start maybe, but I was taking images from this demo for Titanic Voyage. It's significant enough of an improvement in terms of the graphics and lighting especially, that we've basically retaken like every interior space that was in this demo. Brand new, so the game should look, I'm calling it, my branding is, it's like it has a new coat of fresh paint. Kind of like the line from the movie, you know. And so yeah, there is some of the outer deck, obviously. Could we use images from out here? Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I'm hesitant on is that we don't get sunset or sunrise. This is just stuck at a static daytime state. Just like it's stuck at a static nighttime state for the nighttime scene that'll be coming out on January 1st. Oh, look at that too. That's cool. Just looking in the windows and actually seeing the grand staircase in there as you walk by. That's the kind of thing the alpha should let us do, and I can't wait to just look in every window as you walk around and see the ship from outside. Oh man, that would be so cool. So you had your scrap with Princess Fiona. I love hearing voyage stories like that. A lot of people would probably be like, what are you even talking about? But if you play the game, you understand. So yeah, exterior images, it's a possibility. I might experiment with it. The one thing that I'm hesitant on is just, again, the sunset and sunrise, and I don't like mixing and matching. Like, imagine, for example, if like you're walking around the boat deck and it looks amazing. It looks like this, you know? This is the image for the boat deck here, and then sunset comes and suddenly it flips back to Virtual Sailor. Like, for me, it almost needs to be all or nothing. But I might change my tone on that as I'm going to experiment with it and see how I feel about it in the future. Kathleen had a drunken moment after the party. Do I have any memories out here? Or in the staircase? A lot, I guess. I haven't played First Class in a few years, though, so I feel a little disconnected from it. I'll be much more nostalgic for Second Class. But I do have a First Class character this year, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing these new images in-game. I think like this was one of the angles I took for one of them. Or no. Yeah, it was more like that, I think. I don't know. It's cool. I think you'll like all the images when you see them. So here we have the Gymnasium. Once it loads. I opened the door too fast, sorry. So here's the Gymnasium. And this is a room that is really growing on me. I do have memories in this room. One year, I raced someone on one of these bikes, and then our friends and us broke this rowing machine here, and the captain came in and yelled at us. We said we would pay for the destroyed rowing machine, so that's my big memory from this room, from the voyage. But yeah, you've got a bunch of exercise equipment, and this, I believe, is one room where I can plug the Honor and Glory deck plans a little bit and show you this. This is the Gymnasium, so this is what all of the equipment in here is. You've got the exercise cyclers, you've got something just called Exerciser. No idea what that is. That sounds a bit intimidating. I think these are hydraulic rowing machines. Trunk rotating machine. What's the trunk rotating machine? Oh, that's... I I guess you would try to hold on as this thing rotates or something? That seems a little dangerous. Especially right up against the wall with windows and stuff, but yeah, the trunk rotating machine, that's interesting. These were vibrating chairs, I saw. I guess like massage chairs. Vibration machine, yeah. Where is it? This is the vibration machine. Right here. That's the vibration machine. These are just chairs for someone to sit and relax. What do we got back here? Back rubbing machine. Ooh. I might need a character to use this back rubbing machine. That sounds nice. Abdomen rubbing machine. 1912 exercise equipment was so weird. What? Abdomen rubbing machine. There you go. The abdomen rubbing machine. And the camels. The famous camels that everyone likes to poke fun at. The electric camel. So here is just called riding machines. Machines. That might be a typo actually. Riding machines. Machines. Yeah, no gymnasium would ever look like this. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, of course you got this punching bag as well. You got to use that in Titanic Adventure Out of Time. You've got these nice boards over here showing just like a model of the ship, and of course all of the White Star Line routes that their ships sail on across the world. Kind of blocked by this thing though, the exerciser. Exerciser just sounds so threatening to me. I have no idea how this thing would even work. Yeah, 1912 equipment looks like torture devices. Yeah, exactly. So that's the gymnasium. Really interesting room, like surprisingly interesting looking at some of this stuff and really wondering how the hell any of it worked. But we have to move on from the gym for now. So we've got a lot more to see still. Let's go down to A deck next. Probably my favorite deck in the demo, because there's a whole lot to see here. We'll do the grand staircase landing first, but once you see one landing, they're all kind of the same. We're not going to spend too much time here. I do love this view down here, though. Always a classic. It's also interesting, like looking across and seeing into the reading and writing room there. That's a cool view. Can't go out onto the A-deck promenade here, unfortunately, but that's where it would be. You just walk out on the door and take a seat. What PC specs I have? I will look that up after the stream. I don't remember. I'm very much not a hardware guy. I just like, oh, that looks good, I'll buy that, and then I'm done for a few years. Elevator. The first elevator landing, actually. So, you know, the elevator gear room we looked at earlier, right above here, of course. Oh, you can also see like the tops of the elevators here, which is kind of neat. I think they're missing a lot of detail. In fact, I don't even see a wire attached to them, but that's just because this demo itself is missing a lot of detail. These models were not completed. I always like going through these doors. This hallway's lighting is a little off, let's just say, but this hallway itself looks really good. This is the forward A-deck cabins. None of them are really accessible, unfortunately. But this one is open. This would be one of the larger cabins on A-deck. There's nothing in it, sadly, but you can get a view forward from here, which is really nice. Again, I think these would be some of the best cabins to have if you're going for like the simpler cabin, because you get such a nice view of the front of the ship. And you could just, I don't know, open these up, I guess, and get a really great breeze as well, I would imagine. Maybe even too much of a breeze. There's also just the forward window here in the corridor itself, of course. There's a bathroom behind here that hopefully will become accessible in the future update. because apparently there's like a flushable toilet in it. But yeah, it's not accessible in this. This is kind of neat because this is how you would get some privacy, I guess, is there'd be like shutters like this. And I'm not sure if that's something that you can like pull down, or no, it looks like pull up actually. That looks like the shutter right there. And then you would pull it up to cover your window a bit so that people can't really see in. And then you also have blinds as well, of course. Yeah, not much more to say about that. Yeah, there is much more the hardware person. Where did I get it? Was it Best Buy? Might have been Best Buy. Yeah, flushable toilet. It's like the most exciting thing I want to do. Go flush the toilet. I hope they add it in the next release. You know, I have Unreal Unlocker so I can fly the camera around. And if you fly it into here, the bathroom is here. It's just not at all set up with lighting. But this would be the bathroom. We would be able to go flush, I think, like that toilet right there. If only it would get added. Please add it, Honor and Glory people, before you're done updating this demo. Back to here. And I saw mention about the notice by the ADEC door. Was it this one? How smoking is strictly forbidden in the companion ways. Yeah. Very frowned upon if you smoke in a corridor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got 16 gigabyte RAM. I know you have more than me. I actually want to get a better computer in like the next year. Just have to pause and look at the dome again, sorry. Within the next year or so, I want to try and get a better computer. The lighting in this hallway is a little weird. It's like very shiny. I think that's a mistake. Maybe it'll get updated. Again, demo that was never supposed to be released to the public, so it has some oddities. The lounge is right there. We'll go in there in a minute. First, I want to look at this empty void. There we go. This is the reading and writing room, one of my favorite rooms that everyone hated on the actual ship. No one ever used this room. But it's a very pretty room in my book. It's got a not wood burning fireplace. This is just an electric fireplace, but still a nice fireplace for a heater. Pretty clock on top with a little mirror. It's just a very... I always liked this room. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like it. All these fancy little writing desks, since that is, of course, the purpose of the room. I know in Titanic Voyage I added like a ton of tea and coffee to this room just to hopefully give people an excuse to come in here, because I really like this room and I want to see it used, and it does get used pretty much every year. Oh yeah, I remember very well what happened in this room. This is where the room was set ablaze after Tom fled. Because I imagine it was like he like pulled like two of these tables together or something. Like just walked up and just took this table and just dragged it over here or something and just set it next to this one and laid all his models out on top. Oh, he's definitely one of my more memorable joke characters. He's so over the top since he's based on all those internet rumors. Smaller than you expected? Yeah, it is a pretty small space when you actually get to walk around in it. Some of the things we do in here, like throwing riots, having huge 20+ people gatherings for someone's get-rich-quick scheme, you know? Like, yeah, I don't think it would actually work in this space. But this is the room. My favorite view is like this one, I think, looking back this way. If I fly the camera down a little bit, like this. Just looking at the room from this perspective. I don't know why, but I really like that vantage point. I'm pretty sure that I took an image from that vantage point for Titanic Voyage. Most of the images I take are just views that I really like. Certainly gets more people in the room, yeah. So this is the room that might lag a little bit on the stream because it's very, very unoptimized. I can't do anything about it if it does lag, I'm sorry. But I'll try and show it off as best I can all the same. This is the lounge, of course. Very pretty looking room. It's a room that, you know, back in the Titanic Adventure Out of Time days where it looked all yellow and weird, I never really liked it. But over time, I have grown to really like it. I would have motion blur on because in this initial release, you can't turn it off. It might be added in future releases. I like the little corners, like if I go all the way back here, like these little corners are my favorite parts of the room. Just very private. You could just sit in here and have a chat about whatever you want, kind of isolated away from the room at large. But then if you wanted to sit with people and just be out in public, you have all these other seats in these much larger corners next to the windows, or you can just go toward the center of the room. And there's just so many pretty spots to look at in here. Rachel's here. Hello, Rachel. You're just in time to see the lounge. It's got another not wood-burning fireplace, but an electric fireplace. Really pretty mirror. Bookshelf back here where passengers could just go and take books. It's all the same book in this demo, but obviously they would have had different books. I believe the unspoken rule was that you could just take any book you like so long as you return it by the end of the voyage before you disembark. I'm not sure if that was enforced. I don't know if anyone like signed books out to people or if it was just kind of the honor system. If it was the honor system, I imagine some passengers would leave with books. It's just how it is. It's kind of weird that there's two clocks, though, I have to say. Like, they're pretty. They add a lot to the view here, but why two clocks? They're right next to each other, too. You could easily see the time on one. Why do you need to look at the other? I don't know. There's bathrooms. Oh. Not really. It's not properly added and it looked like a nightmare. I'll send you a picture later. All the same book. Is it by Gilderoy Lockhart? What's it called? Babel. Babel. That must be Lockhart's pen name. I really, the more I see this room, I think I started talking about it before, then stopped. When I first saw this in Adventure Out of Time and it looked all yellow, I hated it. But then as I've seen new iterations of it, culminating in this one here, with all of this really amazing lighting, it's grown on me a lot. I really like this room now. But I would totally be sitting like on the couch in this corner, isolated from everything, so I'd barely get to see it. Let's move on. Oh no, I'm getting stuck on the door. Okay. Oh man, we're only at aft A deck. And it's 45 minutes in already. I gotta pick up the pace. There's so much to see. This is the aft grand staircase. I'm not going to stay on this for too long because this was already in demos 2 and 3. It looks a lot better in this lighting. If you want to really see it, explore it when the demo comes out tomorrow. I will take a peek, of course, into Mr. Andrews' cabin, though. Probably my favorite of the simple first class cabin designs. Just very plain looking, but it works for me. That's all I would need. I would take the bed next to the window. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe this bed would be better, actually. Thinking about it. But these rooms had private baths as well through here. Can't go there in the demo, but it would be there. And the... You want to play Gilderoy? I'm going to do a Harry Potter joke character at some point, so we should do those in tandem, I have to say. I don't know which one yet. What I want to do, it's not going to spoil it obviously, but I want to do the origin story of why the time turners are prohibited. Like, you know, Hermione says that bad things happen to wizards who mess with time. I want to be the reason that that's a lesson that has been learned by the Ministry. I think it would be a fun, silly storyline. This is the smoking room, another room which has grown on me recently, seeing it in this lighting. I do not like the tiles. I'll just say that up front. I really don't like the tiles. Use unlocker to go into the bathroom. Fine, hang on. We'll double back for a sec. There's not much to see. It's just empty, an empty void. You can kind of get a sense for what the space of the bathroom would be, though. It's actually a pretty large bathroom, all things considered. I think it had a toilet and a tub. It would just been in there. I believe it also had a window, so you could, yeah, have a bit of sunlight, I guess. I don't know that you'd have the window open while you were going to the bathroom, though, necessarily, but yeah, smoking room. This is a room I typically don't use. I really like, for some reason, this corner, by the way. I don't know what it is about it, just if I was in here, this is where I would be. You get to see pretty good view, looking forward. Pretty secluded, just off in the corner on its own. I really like the fireplace. This one actually was a proper fireplace. You would actually put wood in there and burn it. The only one on board, I think. And if you think about where you are on the ship right here, let me take a peek at these plans real quick. So funnel 4 itself is in the casing right here. Yeah, so funnel 4 is inside of here. Is the casing for funnel 4, which was the dummy funnel, of course. I'm pretty sure that somehow the smoke that came from this wood-burning fireplace would end up in funnel 4. I might be wrong there. Maybe it went somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure that there was some mechanism for that to happen. And I'm also pretty sure that's one of the only reasons this is a wood-burning fireplace. Is it coal? It might be coal. It's probably coal, actually, yeah. But either way, it was a real fireplace that could actually burn something. Are those lions? They look like lions. Get real close to them. I think they're lions. They look like lions to me. Again, they're not like fully detailed like they will be in the alpha, so they're a little rough here, but they look to me like lions. I think you're right. I'm just gonna see too. I doubt it's set up, but yeah. Oh no, it is. So yeah, you kind of see it would burn in here and then go up through there. What's directly behind? I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent now I'm aware of, but yes, it is a coal fire, by the way. You are correct. I see that now in the plans. Yeah, okay, so it has to end up in Funnel 4 somehow. I don't know how the PS1 lands. Another fun fact that I like to talk about is that behind these stained glass windows in the middle of the room, you actually have, I don't think it looked like this. This is all just not really rendered in, but the way it worked. So on the boat deck, there's a few windows here. And I think on the other side, on the other side as well, there would be a few windows here. Obviously, they're not correctly rendered right now. It didn't look like just a big hole, but there would be some windows and then a little bit of space behind the windows. And the intent was that that would let these middle stained glass windows here be lit by natural sunlight, even being in the center of the ship like this. So they would appear much brighter, as they do here, during the daytime, just like the exterior facing stained glass windows. That's a pretty clever design, I think. Coal fireplace sounds very dangerous. I mean, you've got a little rim around it. It'll be fine, right? There's also this thing here, which I've never known what it is exactly. On the plans, it is listed as a cigar showcase. You can kind of see that here. I think it would be like, so when passengers come in the room, it's not like Titanic Voyage where you just have all of the menus laid out in front of you with fancy text or whatever telling you what everything is. You could probably come up to the cigar showcase to see different samples and then be like, oh, that looks good, I want that, and then they would give it to you, is my assumption. And the server window is right here. The bar is tucked right behind here, right behind the fireplace. And that's where they would prepare people's drinks and then give them out, and then the smoke room keeper would go and give them to whoever ordered. So yeah. It's a cool space. I'm appreciating it a lot more with this lighting than I ever have, as I think I already said. But this is one of my new favorite spaces. The palm courts. I really, really like them now. They're very pretty. I use them a fair bit in the voyage every year, but I'm very much looking forward to having these new images of them going forward. I'm especially excited to see it at night as well, with all these lights turned on. That will be fun to see, because I've only ever seen this room represented in daylight before. So, January 1st, I'll be rushing to this room after I see second class. You can go out on deck as well, just this aft portion of the deck here. You can't go forward on either side, but you can explore all of this. Perfect room to eat lamb with very little mint sauce. Yeah, that's where it happened in the movie. Somewhere in here. Did they actually serve lamb with very little mint sauce in this room? Doubtful. It has a little serving window here, going back to that bar / pantry. I think they served a lot of cakes and pastries, maybe even ice cream. In the voyage we have ice cream in here. That might just be something we've invented that wasn't real, but I always just really like this space. They'd serve tea and coffee as well, of course. Yeah, it's your deck area. This is it. We always like to come out here and have like deep, intense conversations in the voyage around these two benches. And then we can look aft and see the stern over there. Can look down there and see some of second class where we'll be in January 1st. I can't wait again. You got the mast just towering overhead. The textures are a little wrong on it, as you can see. They don't line up necessarily as they should, but maybe that'll get fixed by Christmas. If you just look at one side of it, it looks right at least. And over here you've got the other palm court, the one that was barely ever used. It was reportedly used more as like a children's playroom than anything. It's basically the same as the other, except it has no entrance to the smoking room. This one was only accessible through the deck, so people who are out on deck, promenading I think was the term for it, could come in here for something. Why they would do that instead of going in this one, I don't know. If you're too lazy to walk around the ship, I guess. That's probably why that room on that side wasn't very popular, because this one, once you're done, you can actually go into the smoking room, as we're about to do, because we gotta go back inside now to get to other stuff. And a break on their textures. It is, yeah, so the small visual glitches and oddities aside, like, yeah, this is so amazing to have as something that was released absolutely for free as well. I can't stress that enough, that they gave this to everyone for free, and they're going to be giving everyone all of B-Deck for free as well. B-Deck being where we're about to go next, so let's get some I don't know, early looks at the alpha. I mean, I should specify nothing in here is the alpha graphics. The alpha is going to be completely reworked, but this is the restaurant reception, a room that has undergone significant alterations in the Titanic Honor and Glory deck plans, in ways that I'm not going to really get into here. If you want to see them, you can buy the plans yourself. And basically an advertisement for their deck plans at this point. But I don't want, since they are a paid thing, I don't want to show too much of them. But yeah, this room has undergone some pretty significant changes from this iteration of it. But this iteration of it still, it's never been my favorite room, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know. It's alright. It's not great. My favorite view in here is from this table looking over at the cafe. Like that. That's a pretty view. It also has a dome, of course. Smaller than the forward dome, but still pretty. You're allergic to lobster, oh no. Oh, and you had lamb with mint sauce. Turns out you're allergic. Oh no. Sad stories being shared. You're a picky eater? Picky about cilantro, maybe. Oh yeah, the Parisian. I'm just walking in without even saying. I mean, you all know what this room is. I don't need to explain it. That wind sounds pretty loud. Is it loud for you too? My favorite image that I've recreated again is from this vantage point here. Oh my god, that wind is so loud. I always love this particular view. Just looking back at the whole cafe. A good lurking spot. No, it's not too loud for you? Okay, good. It's very loud in my ears. You can kind of see into the restaurant through here as well. It's just, again, the spot we've had in Demo 3, so I'm not going to take too long in here, but it just looks significantly better now with the new lighting. Little restaurant entrance corridor, another thing that's undergone some changes since this demo. Got a little menu. Here's the restaurant. Probably my favorite first class room. Almost. It's hard to say. I really like the Palm Court after seeing it. It might be my new favorite room, but this is definitely up there. And with the new lighting, you can see just how much effect the daytime lighting has on this room. You barely have any of the lights turned on because it's so bright in here just on its own. I mean, I got some really good images in here for the game. It looks very, very pretty. We're not going to linger because it was in Demo 3, but I just need to show it off. There's a slight visual bug right now where there's a seam in the floor here. That might be fixed. Who knows? We'll see. Part of the Guarantee Group since 2016. Yeah. I've been in it since, oh, I don't even know. Pretty much since it was a thing, I think. But yeah, it really, I can't say how nice it is to finally get to walk around a lot of these spaces and see them rendered in such excellent lighting. And again, all for free. I can't get over that this is something that was just put out there for free for everyone to play. Let's go forward along B-Deck now. Corridor, cabins upon cabins upon cabins. You know, that joke that's been overplayed so many times from Demo 3. Yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna sprint through it. The sprint speed is a lot faster, which I am thankful for. This is an empty void. No, this is the B51, the Cardeza Parlor suite. The one that everyone tends to forget about. Like, I was very shocked the first day I learned that this room was actually taken by a passenger. Like, it's not something I expected, because everyone talks about how Ismay and Mr. Strauss had the Parlor suites, and they barely ever mention Miss Cardeza. But she was in here. Nice little writing desk in the corner. Fireplace. Table. If I'm honest, this is probably the Parlor suite that I like the least. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't really care for it too much. It might just be that it's just yet another white room. So many rooms on Titanic are painted white like this. It doesn't have the most elegant design, in my opinion. Not like C55, which we'll get to in a minute. But it has a private promenade all the same, and a few extra bedrooms that we can't get into in this demo. But in the free alpha, we'll be able to get in there once they get to this zone. So that's something to look forward to. So many bots lately. You've brought the bots to my stream. What are you doing? You join and then the bots start showing up. B-Deck. These are the entrances. It would be used in Southampton or a few other places. I think the only time it actually got used, though, was in Southampton. And passengers boarded through here in Southampton. And through these doors is the private promenade that Mr. Ismay had, or if you're going by the 1997 Titanic, this is the room where Cal yells at Rose. You know, the whole, "My fiancé!" And then flips the table. That happened in this room. Can't go into the Parlor suite, unfortunately, but once again, in the free alpha, we will be able to. Brought me more viewers with your robot army. Here we get to see the elevators. We can't go in them still for some reason. Hopefully they open those up. But that's the elevator. It's about what you'd expect from an elevator. No need to linger on it too long. Yeah, there you go. You got the quote. This is the C-deck landing of the grand staircase, which has always been my favorite for reasons I still cannot really explain. It's just, I don't know. It's very sizable to me, like very large. Not a whole lot of seating, but yeah, I guess it might be the inquiry office that's attached to it. Just adds a little something to it, you know? I mean, it's pretty plain, honestly, but I really like it. I don't know. Elevators again. Back this way you get some cool stuff. So this is just another forward passenger corridor. Once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all, so I'm really not gonna linger on it, but this little corridor here, directly behind this wall, was for the crew, basically crew only. Here you've got a little pantry. Can't go inside of it, but this would be like one of the pantries that would serve the passenger cabins. That texture didn't load properly, but this would be like a call indicator, so if anyone ever presses the steward bell in their cabin, this would actually have the cabins laid out on it. You'd be able to see where they called from and then go get what they want, come back, make it, you know, that whole process. This here is the telephone switchboard, which would be used to connect all of the different telephones on board together. There was a dedicated switchboard operator who would basically just sit in this tiny closet all day long with his door shut, I imagine, just working the telephone. That wouldn't have been a good job. There's a joke character for someone to make one day, the telephone switchboard operator, and have him just slowly go insane in this room every day. I'll take some images of this room and put it in game if someone promises to do that. Going forward, today's Jack Thayer's birthday? Really? That's cool. Wait a minute, oh no, the corridor didn't load. This is a problem. You can see through the ship. What happened? Let's go upstairs, then back downstairs. Or no, sorry, downstairs, then upstairs. That should fix it. I probably was sprinting too fast. It's my fault. Okay, so we loaded in the stuff down here, and then if we go back up, that should fix itself, I hope. Throw her in the padded room. Yeah, there we go. It's fixed now. That's my advice. If you get a weird bug like that, just go somewhere else on the ship, then come back, and it's usually fixed. Dua Lipa. Oh god. Oh, where am I going? This is another empty void. This is the Parlor suite that I like the most. This is C55. I think it's the prettiest. I'm gonna use the flying cam in here for a minute. I think it's the prettiest. This is also the room that Rose's suite was based off of. Again, probably because it looks the prettiest of them all. This was the Strauss sitting room. Isidore and Ida Strauss stayed in here. Got a nice little fan. You've got a writing desk, painting, fireplace. It's a little smaller than the one on B deck, but I think it's prettier looking. Did it not show up on the stream? And here is C57, an Empire style suite. Kind of neat because this is one of the first looks at a Titanic suite that we get represented in anything Honor and Glory has done. We'll get a whole lot of them on B deck as we go through the free alpha, but for now this is the most we have. We've got a few of Britannic from Britannic Patroness of the Mediterranean, but this is the first Titanic one we got. It's pretty basic, honestly. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize how small and simple these rooms are. Some of them for sure look very luxurious and elegant. So I'm not gonna pretend not, but like a decently high-end hotel might look kind of like this nowadays. It's nothing too amazing to me, at least. But we'll have to see as we get into the alpha and get some other styles. And then, yeah, the private toilet. Can I flush this one? No, I don't seem to be able to. Damn it. Oh well. You have a toilet. You have a bath. A nice heater. Ooh, that looks warm. Oh man. That looks very warm. You got a bath, sink, all the basic amenities you would need. And then this door would go to another cabin because you shared, you would share your toilets. And I'm assuming there was a mechanism to lock the other door when you came in. It's probably this somehow. You could come in, lock the other door, and then use the toilet so that no one ever walked in on you. Or maybe you just would lock these doors? I don't know. There had to be some way of locking these doors to keep people from just wandering into your cabin, you know. But you love the blue floor? Yeah, I really like the floor in here. Probably my favorite part of the room, if I'm honest. I'm really not big on white walls, I guess. Which is surprising since I really love the reading and writing room. I mean, I would not complain if this was my cabin, but Titanic has so many just bare white walls everywhere like this. It's, to me, I don't like them that much. I like when there's variety. You can kind of glimpse into these cabins. There's not really anything in them. No, not here. Here, right? Yeah. These ones as well you can look into. But again, there's not much in there. Of course, we can fly the camera in. This wall itself isn't complete, which is probably why they keep you from walking in here. But aside from that, like, everything's here. So I'll probably be getting images of this room later on. Like a view like that would work, you know. It hides the back wall that's not there. It's maybe a little darker than it should be, or maybe that is just how dark cabins actually were. You know, lighting of 1912 wasn't always up to snuff, but just like comparing that bulb to like these bulbs, I'm guessing that it's more that the lights just aren't as bright as they should be in there. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see cabins like that all the same. Your cabin C81 just outside Maid and Valet Saloon. Let's go look at it. Here's famous C73. Titanic Adventure Out of Time cabin. C81. Right here, C81. Can't go in, but that's where it would be. Very close to the staircase. I always like the ones that are close to the staircase. I don't know if I would like the ones that are right on the stairs, like these, because you'd probably get a lot of noise throughout the day. But somewhere close, like back there, would probably be fine. You have a lamp that's as bright as that cabin's light, and your room's also a bit dark. Yeah, that could be like more realistic lighting for the inside of cabins, which would be interesting because we always imagine them being so very bright, but all you really have is just one tiny light bulb and a small lamp on the wall. Would it really be that bright? It might not be. That might just be how they would look. Very dim lighting. The big piece is... Ooh, that's cool. I actually didn't know. I knew it was from around this general area, but I didn't know it was that cabin exactly. That's where Irene fell? Was it the aft stairs or the forward stairs? I know she had just played with... played bridge with Bruce Ismay right before it happened, right? So I would guess it would be the forward stairs? Yeah, okay. It is the forward stairs. This is the Maids and Valet saloon. It's missing a lot of set dressing and other stuff that it should have, but this is just basically what the room would look like. I do know that Matt recently... Oh, that's kind of cool. You can pretend you're sitting at the table. I know that Matt recently has touched up this room, let's say. The floor tiles are probably going to be different. And the walls are actually probably going to be different as well. So it's going to probably look very different in the final game. But for now, we have this nice representation of it. And back here is the postal clerk and Marconi saloon. They would share a dining room all the way back here. Kind of interesting to think about that they'd have to walk this far to eat. But this is where they would eat. There's not really anything else in here. It's a very basic room, as most crew spaces are. Maybe they would have had like a picture or something hanging up on the wall. I know that they had some of those things in some spaces. Coat racks for your coats, of course. But forward grand staircase C deck. Yeah, okay, that's back where we just were. We're almost through. Actually, we're done with C deck now, because the rest of it is just more cabin halls. There's nothing back here. However, there is this. This is the hospital corridor. So you can see, like, this is where the infectious hospital is. So this is where anyone who came down with the coronavirus would live their lives. It looks dangerous. Like, I feel like I'd bump my head on this somehow, especially if we were in heavy seas. And then these are the other plain hospital rooms. You've got baths as well, toilets. Now, I think the hospital was primarily used by third-class passengers. If a first-class passenger was sick, or even a second-class passenger, they would typically just stay in their room and not leave, and the doctor would basically make house calls to them, go check up on them, give them whatever they need. Here's the padded room, by the way. I kind of wish that you could close the door, so you could lock yourself in there, get a sense for what it would be like. Yeah, imagine all like 20 of the people who are screaming in the padded room during the sinking, just in this tiny thing. Kind of, they're all just crammed in here, just banging on the door. Let me out, let me out. I'll behave. Whatever other horrible things they all say. Yeah. Yeah, I might be able to get a new image in here now for the daytime. I don't know. I don't want to put too much effort into the padded room because I don't want people to like intentionally get themselves in trouble just to see what it looks like. But I could find some way to get a daytime image of this room, I'm sure, without like looking at the door and showing that it's wide open, of course. What I have wanted to do is actually make like a separate padded room, one that's for roleplay, and another, the main one obviously for jail purposes, but one that you can actually use for roleplay that's user friendly, so you can go and see it and explore it and play out scenes in it even without having to have a mod throw you to jail. Wasn't the padded room destroyed in the breakup? Likely yes, I think. So let's see where on the ship it is exactly. There, here it is. Okay, so this here is like where funnel 4 would be, around here, and the padded room is back here. The breakup itself happened around here, like basically along this line right there, but a lot of the stuff in and around here was just completely devastated, if not in the breakup itself, on the way down. It's possible that it might be tucked away somewhere very deep in there, but I mean this whole part of the ship just got completely devastated and crushed. So yeah, not a very good fate for anyone who ends their voyage in there. I'm not gonna lie, like padded room chat logs are like my guilty pleasure. I know the responsible thing is to make sure that no one can read them, but I've gotten some very good laughs out of reading the padded room chat logs. Some people say some horrible things in there though. These are just little cabin corridors off the C-deck stairs, by the way. But, so yeah, it's the way it would have gone down, right? I don't know the full story perfectly, but Irene Harris would have been in B-52 with Mr. Ismay and I think a few others playing bridge, right? And then she comes out, and I believe, wasn't she singing some kind of song? So she just like comes through these doors, singing a song, probably like a little hop in her step, you know, going to the stairs, starts going down the stairs, and then somewhere, I think it was at the near the bottom, right? Like around here, she slips, falls, and breaks her leg, right? It's her leg that she broke. She just comes around, loops, and just falls. It's like immediately your day is ruined. You go from a very happy and joyful moment to that. And then I think she refused the doctor. She didn't trust the doctors and had a passenger look at her instead. A passenger who was a doctor. But yeah, funny story. And then she goes on to survive the sinking later that night. It was on April 14th, right? That happened. Down to D-deck. Reception room. So it's Caitlin. Reception room, not going to spend too much time in it. It's very pretty now, though. The lighting in here is amazing. It's not my favorite room. I know a lot of people really like the reception room, and I do too, but it's not my favorite. I think I prefer the lounge over it. I know that might be sacrilegious to some people, but I really love, of course, the candelabra here. And I really like the way that you can just sit down and see so far back into the saloon. That makes it feel like a very large space. I mean, it's already a large enough space as is, but then you just have that extra view into the saloon as well. And speaking of the saloon, we can go in here finally and explore the whole thing. Now, I really don't like the first class dining saloon. There's a lot about it I don't like. My favorite parts of it are the center parts, I think, where you have like these really... This here looks amazing. Like the little lion figureheads carved into the wood and all this carving. The piano is the centerpiece. That looks amazing. Look, you even got like... Who is that? Like Zeus? Like a Roman... That looks like Zeus to me. I'm curious if anyone knows who that is in the wood. But you've got these carvings that look amazing. I would be really happy, like, just sitting at the table here with that as my viewpoint. That would be awesome. If I was closer to the outside, though, I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for me. I really like the ceilings in here, but yeah, I don't know. It looks, I think some people have described it as like a very clinical room. The floor for the saloon seems sticky. Stick, stick, stick. More lines. I mean, like I said, I like the center of the room. I really like the center of the room. And even being in the center and looking out towards the outer edges, that looks really good. Like, that's very bright, very pretty looking. But if I'm actually sitting in one of these edges, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. Maybe part of it is because these carvings aren't finalized yet. I know each one, I think, was different. And each one showed a different god. Like Poseidon, Neptune, Zeus, probably. It seemed to be a theme in here. So maybe when that gets done in the alpha someday, maybe then I'll start appreciating this room more. But as it stands now, the parts of it that I like the most, even here, like looking at this little back thing. God, what were these called again? The sideboard is what they are called on the Titanic Honor and Glory deck plans. So looking at these sideboards, like these are just amazing. The carvings in them and the detailings. Those are amazing. I really love those. The whole center area here is great. Maybe Thomas Andrews is a fan of Roman mythology. These would go back towards the kitchens, and the servers would come in through here with all the food and take it wherever it needed to go. And those kitchens are very large and complex. I'm very excited for the day we can look at them. But yeah, I don't know. The floor is a little weird in here too. A lot of times when I don't like a room, the floor, I think, plays a part in it, and this floor just doesn't fit the room to me. It's a bit strange. But that's the dining saloon. It's not my least favorite room on the whole ship. I don't know what that is, actually. I'd have to think about what my least favorite room of all is. This is just another passenger corridor, but this does lead to things, so I'm coming this way for a reason, because you've got this staircase here. This mysterious staircase. And this goes down to some more first class cabins right here. It goes down some more. And you come down here and loop around this way. And then you're at the squash court. This is a pretty basic room. Oh my god, the sound of the rackets is so loud in my ears. I'm sorry if it's loud for you. But, it's a very basic room, but it's still one of the cool amenities that first class had. Gate reference. I'll talk about that gate in a second. It has a ventilation fan that goes all the way up to the open space on D deck, I think, where there's fans that pump air down here. So it's got some nice ventilation, even though it's this deep in the ship. You don't hear it? I wonder if I have my sounds somehow muted. It's so loud for me, I can't even explain. And this would be like the viewing area, so you could view from here the game going on down below. And yeah, let's start at the bottom now and work our way back up. How about? So this is the post office where passenger mail would come and it would get sorted, and then once they arrived in New York, it would get sent out wherever it needed to go. And this down here is the mail room, where all of the mail bags just holding mail that they're transporting from England or America, depending on which way they're going, would be. In this room here is the mail room that the iceberg hit along this wall here, and this room started very rapidly flooding. And the postal clerks were coming down and just grabbing bags and trying to get them up here just so they would stay dry. And then soon enough, of course, this room did flood, and this room started flooding. And by then, I think the postal clerks realized, hey, this situation isn't getting any better. Let's get out of here. And they ran up the stairs. I know it's like a big myth that they stayed here trying to get all the mail out and died doing that. I don't think they did. You can even see in here, I mean, you'd very quickly realize, hey, the water's at the top of the stairs here, and it's coming into here now, and it's probably flooding up through the hoist as well. Let's just get out of here, right? You wouldn't stay and still try and save all the mail until you drowned. It doesn't make any sense. Especially when you can just go out the door and go straight up the stairs there to safety. So, yeah, I think that's just a big myth that they died trying to save all the mail. But they did try and save mail for like 20 minutes before they realized that, hey, we got to get out of here. And then they fled. So that's the mailroom and post office right there. This is another empty void because I opened the door too fast. There we go. This is the first class baggage hold. I mean, really, there's not much to say about this. This is where first class baggage would be stored. It always struck me as interesting that there's windows in here. My best guess is that maybe they wanted to try and make it a little more appealing in case passengers ever asked to come down here to fetch something from one of their bags. So they like added in these windows just to give it a little bit of natural light or something. Make it a little prettier, I guess. I don't know. Because none of the other cargo holds, to my knowledge, have windows like that. This one down here is more first class baggage. This one is below the water, so there can't be windows here. But this could also hold second class baggage as well. This one is labeled as first and second class baggage. And this in the middle here, let me see if I can pull this up on the plans real quick, because this is always something that's been interesting to me. Yeah, this right here. Trying to figure out exactly where that is on the plans. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So this goes into the cargo hatch. Yes, so this is where the cargo would come down from the forward well deck. They would load it in here through cranes, and then they take it off into the baggage rooms itself. But this in there was something called the specie room. Right here. This was something that would hold like very, very valuable stuff. So they obviously wouldn't want anyone in the crew or other passengers to steal it. And so what I've heard that they would typically do, and you can kind of even see that here, is that they would pile up cargo in front of it so that it was literally inaccessible throughout the voyage. No one would be able to get all of the giant crates and cargo and stuff that was loaded up there out of the way to get into the room to steal anything. So that was kind of its own defense mechanism almost, because then when they arrive, they just pull that cargo out of the way, and then they can get in there to take the stuff out. So throughout the voyage, there would be some very valuable things in that room, blocked by cargo, and who knows, maybe it's still there to this day, like the Rubaiyat or something really cool like that. So anyway, the sinking starts down here, comes up to here, probably starts flooding the baggage hold, but eventually it's pooling up around these stairs here, and this is where, I forget who, some passenger said that they came here and looked down the stairs and saw the water at the bottom of it, and that's when they knew that things were serious, when they saw that view. And eventually, of course, it would come up and snake around and flood the squash court pretty early on as well. I know someone mentioned they were playing in the squash court as it started to flood in the voyage. I doubt that was going on in real life, but yeah. It is what it is. This gate here, so the cabins beyond here were alternate first, second class, so they could be used as second class rooms if second class was overbooked. And in the case that it was overbooked, this gate could be pulled out of the wall to block it off so that the first class exclusive cabins and the access to the squash court was not accessible by second class passengers. So yeah, I know some people look at something like this and they're like, oh my god, that's one of the third class gates. No, it's just blocking off second and first class, and literally all that the second class people here have to do is just walk down that way and they can get to the stairwell. So it's not like they're locked away from anything. So that still remains a myth. But yes, here is one of the Titanic gates. Oh my god. Poor passengers behind it trying to get through all night. Prevailing myth of the era. Yeah. Thanks, Cameron, for making that everyone's view of the sinking. Luggage for her raccoon. This is the E-deck landing. There's really nothing to say about it. It's just another staircase landing. But if we look up here, you get to see the dome. Always one of my favorite things. And I can't wait to look up there at night now that the dome will be turned off and see how different it looks. And then these, yeah, so this door would actually lead back to that passenger corridor that we were just looking through the gate at. So all they would have to do is just walk up this way, and then there's a staircase right here. These also had gates, actually. They're not here in this demo, but these could also have gates that you pull across. And same here with this elevator, you just pull it across and block it off for in case these cabins were being used for second class passengers. But on the maiden voyage, I know these were first class cabins, and I think Molly Brown's cabin is speculated to be this one here, right? E23, because she mentions coming out and seeing someone working with this here to try and lower a watertight door. And there's nothing like that up on B deck where a lot of people thought her cabin was, but there is right here. So they now speculate that Molly Brown, Margaret Brown, was there. Right next to the elevator, very convenient. And we're very close now to the end. I can't believe it's taken me an hour and 40 minutes to get through everything. This is just part 1. We're gonna have to come back through all of this at nighttime in part 2. That's gonna be something. This is the cooling room, of course, one of the Turkish bathrooms. It's not my favorite room in the complex. I don't know. It's really pretty, but I really like the temperate room more, which we'll be going to in a moment. But this, the way the complex worked, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong in like the sequencing of this a little bit, but I think the way it worked is you would come in through here, and you would be let into the baths themselves. You could do, hey look, it's a creepy guy. You could do the electric bath, or you could have like a shampoo bath in these shampooing rooms. And then next you would be taken to the temperate room, where you could sit, maybe enjoy a drink or something, I don't know, but just sit in here. This room is kept a little warmer. You could also go into the hot room, which is a room that could, well, become pretty hot, I guess. It's got a little thermometer here. I really don't know much about the hot room, if I'm honest. It's probably the room in this complex I know the least about, but I'm assuming it was kept at a higher temperature than like just the temperate room. Or you could go into the steam room, which you could shut the door and it's literally just a steam bath, basically. You can sit down on the bench, shut the door, and I think like right out of there, maybe, a bunch of steam would come out. And again, if we come back to here, the steam room itself, steam room is like right up here, very close to the boiler casing for boiler rooms 4, boiler room 4 and 3, I guess. I think what they did is they would just reroute some of that steam over to here, to the steam room. And it would come out presumably from there. I don't see anywhere else it would come out from. But yeah, basically a steam sauna. And then, so you would get washed off, or maybe you would come in here first. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the order was you would get washed off, maybe even go into the pool. Then you come into here, you have a steam bath, you sit in the temperate room for a while, you warm up a bit, and then you would come back out to the cooling room, which was kept at a cooler temperature, and you would sit down, you would relax. You could weigh yourself here, I know, because the belief was that after you did the steam baths and the stuff in the temperate room, when you weigh yourself, because you sweated a bunch, you would weigh less. So you could check your weight here to see before and after, I guess, how much you weigh. And it's just a nice room to sit and relax in after the fact. And then, yeah, the bath, the swimming pool itself was basically part of that complex, so far as I'm aware. You could come to the pool, which looks awesome in this lighting, by the way. You could come swim in the pool, you know, have a nice swim, get out, go back, wash off in the shampooing rooms, come into the temperate room, maybe take a steam bath, then go back out to the cooling room at the end, potentially, you know, electric bath somewhere and all of that. Like, it's very intricate facility with a lot to it, so when you came here, it would be pretty involved. It wouldn't just be like you come and just sit in this one room the whole time. Yeah, it's just water weight, yeah. People of 1912 were weird. They believed strange things. And then you would leave. There's a little sign here saying some of the information. Yeah, you can see it doesn't specifically say. I mean, it has hours for ladies and hours for men. It mentions the swimming bath has its own hours. Gentlemen from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Ladies from 10 to 11. Ooh. So ladies only got 1 hour? But then also the shared... So that's... This wording doesn't make sense to me. Hang on. So... Ladies and gentlemen also can use the swimming pool from the same hours listed for the Turkish bath. But the ladies can use the Turkish bath from 10 to 1, but they're only listed for the pool from 10 to 11. Wouldn't it be 10 to 1 as well? That doesn't make sense to me. Free of charge, why do we charge on Titanic Voyage? Let's ignore that sign. Clearly it's factually inaccurate. The pool freaks you out. Yeah, I don't like how it's so plain. The bare steel walls, it just doesn't do it for me. I'm trying to think now, is there anything that I have forgotten? There is something I forgot to look at. If we go forward here, on C deck, we actually have a cabin open. This is C7, this would be. It's one of the more plain looking cabins, obviously, but it does have a nice view of the forward well deck. Is there a soundtrack to this demo? So currently, no, but the release on Christmas might have music. It's just something that they weren't able to get added in time for this initial release. And I'd also say if the release on Christmas doesn't have it, it probably will be in the January 1st release then. Music would be very nice though. If in the settings, that's hard to see. They've got to fix that so it's a little easier to see the menu, but they do have a setting for music. It's just defaulted to nothing. And even if I change it, there isn't any music. So that's just something that's still coming. It's not in yet, but it should be added. Yeah, the villain cabin. As the story goes, this is where the bad guy for Titanic Honor and Glory would have been staying in the original draft of the game. I always wonder with these rooms if, like, you'd have a bunch of third-class people out on the well deck just coming up to you and knocking on your window or something. That would be really annoying. A bunch of kids playing tag, like, right outside your window all night. Just open up your porthole and yell, "Get off my lawn," you know. But yeah, this is C8. It's a pretty large cabin, honestly. I could survive in a room like this for 7 days. Is there anything else I forgot? Or is there anything else, I guess, that people would like to see again before I end it? Love that window watch. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you would be able to watch so many third class people through it too if that was your thing, like looking down on the poor. That would be perfect. There is one small room that I didn't go to that's in Demo 3. Oh my god, the corridor didn't load again. There we go. Don't know what it is about the C-Deck corridor, but right now it really likes to deload itself and not be there whenever I sprint over to it. So down here is a tiny cabin. Again, it's pretty dim in here too, so this might just be what the lighting looked like in cabins back then. That is C-142. Watching the pores. I also forgot to come into the barber shop. I forgot to get images of this too. I need to go take some images of the barber shop. It's missing a lot of the set dressings. Like there would be a bunch of souvenirs that they sold in these cabinets, as well as just barber supplies. But yeah, this is the barber shop. This is where people would come to get a haircut from 7 to 7. For the convenience of the greater number. I like that wording. For the convenience of the greater number, passengers are requested not to apply for haircutting or shampooing, except between the hours of noon and 5 p.m. Why? Because of the noise, I guess? They're worried about making a lot of noise? That's weird. Why is it open then if you're requesting people not to do it? Try recreating Murdoch's POV? Okay. I need to stop sprinting so much. Especially the lounge being so intensive. Takes a while to load it all. I mean, the lounge lags my computer a little bit. Oh, no, it's this way. So I will talk a little bit about the next release, Part 2. Part 2 is going to include a lot of stuff that wasn't in this one. Part 2 will include the second class library, smoking room, and dining saloon. The aft second class staircase. Maybe the first second class staircase. There's a rumor. We don't know. We'll have to see. That would be amazing if it was added, though. It will probably include at least a little bit of the boat deck outside of the smoking room, the second class smoking room. It will include all of Scotland Road. It will include the third class open space in the bow. It will include several third class corridors in the bow. It will include a few crew spaces along Scotland Road. It will include the engineers, saloon, a third class cabin. I'm pretty sure will be in it. The third class general room and smoking room will be in it. Third class stairwell will be in it. It's gonna, in my opinion, be almost as large as this demo was in its own right, in terms of the offerings, and it's going to be a lot of lower class and crew spaces, so I'm personally very excited for that release. You know your computer would have an electronic aneurysm trying to run it. Yes, this demo does require a good computer. So yeah, Murdoch, somewhere out on the bridge wing, right? He's looking forward. He sees the iceberg on the horizon. He knows what's up. He just starts to sprint into here. He yells the command for hard to starboard. And then the phone rings. think the Moody, the other officer with him, goes to pick up the phone, asks what they saw. He says iceberg right ahead. Thank you, he replies back. Murdoch's already running up here, issuing commands on these to... he didn't reverse it. I know there was a big theory. I think he just ordered all stop. He might not even have run up to do it himself. I don't know how the bridge works exactly. There might have been someone else who manages that, but he shouted out the order for all stop, made sure the telegraphs were, correct. Then he runs back onto the bridge wing to watch things like the movie, I think. I'm not an expert on the sequencing of stuff here, but Hitchens on the wheel, turns hard to starboard. The ship starts turning, but it's not enough, of course, and it hits over there, starts grinding against the side of the ship, and as that's happening, he flips the watertight door switch. Boiler steam sounds healthy. Flips the watertight door switch, which would be right here. I now know that, so he would have run here to do that. And yeah, that's the beginning of it. I probably got some things in that sequence wrong, but it is cool being able to kind of visualize all of that just here on the set, how he would have run, issued the command, come back up, all stop on whichever of the telegraphs he needed to do. I think one of them was an emergency one. Let's see if we can find that real quick. This one is labeled as EMR telegraph. I don't know what all of these mean. The EMR to me is maybe emergency, so maybe it was this one he would have done it on. Of course, this one's colored red. I wonder why. But yeah, this is also where Captain Smith and Thomas Andrews would have been discussing things as the ship was almost in the final plunge. And then, yeah, they said that we cannot stay any longer. She's going. Then they walk out over here. And, like, the water's already starting to come up onto the deck at that point. And they just dive over the forward rail here into the water. And who knows what happens after that. But that's the last official sighting of them. Then you have the final collapsible A up there that Murdoch was trying to get onto this davit. I can fly over there. He was trying to get it onto this davit, and this one is cranked back in to take a boat because they were trying to take the collapsible and push it over here and get it ready to go when the water started to rush up around them and they had to cut the ropes, everything like you see in the movie. And on this side is where the boat fell upside down on top of Harold Bride, basically, after he came out of the wireless room. And then Lightoller got sucked up against that fan vent right up here because he was up here trying to free the boat. It fell down. He kind of walked back to look at the other side and see what was happening there, and then the plunge starts. And he says that he dove forward off of the bridge into the water and swam towards the mast before realizing how pointless that was. And then suddenly he got pinned up against a fan vent, which would have been this one here, as the ship's going under. And then a big burst of water and air just exploded from the vent and sent him flying back up to the surface. So very lucky that that happened, or he would have died. That's the wheelhouse and bridge. I'm probably not getting new images of these because I already took images from Britannic, and even though I think the arrangement's a little bit different there, I can get sunset and sunrise images there, so to me that's better than having it be a little more accurate. I always wonder if this elevator gear was loud. Like, if the elevators are being used and you're sitting, like, right here, would you have heard it? Behind the staircase there? Able? No. No, we can look out there. Can't go there. We can fly the camera out. You can see a lot of details missing, though. Which boat was boat 7? I think it would have been, what, boat 1, 3, 5, 7, right? So it's like right outside the grand staircase where that would have happened, where they jumped over. Right, yeah, right out there. We can kind of go on the opposite side. Like it's a mirror of that side, but it would have been basically like this area here, just on the other side of the ship. Maybe even a little further aft of it, like here or something, potentially. Okay. Let's see, it's been about 2 hours now, so is there anything else, like last final things you want to see again before I end it? I want to see the reading and writing room, so I'm going to run over there real quick. You can just, I can visibly feel my computer start lagging as I get close to the lounge. Very pretty room. Anything you want to see? You got like a minute. Cabin door of B90. Okay, you got it. You know what? Let's do this like you know, a poor lost passenger had no idea where he was going. Because I think, aren't there? Are there not maps? The other decks had maps close to the entrance. I wonder if that's just missing. It would be on this side, so it would be further down. '88, we're getting close. There it is, B90. Right there. Very close to the restaurant reception, which failed to load in properly. Uh-oh. I'm sprinting too much. I'm telling you, even though you want to sprint everywhere to get there fast, right now at least, it triggers bugs like this a lot. You want to see the entire ship from the outside? Doesn't look good, let me warn you. This is what the ship looks like out here. So one of the reasons that they have to change the models, like redo a lot of stuff for the alpha, is that things just don't line up right. Like you can see here, like some of the things are just slightly too big for the exterior of the ship, so that things just don't line up correctly. Roblox Titanic. We do get to see some hints at what's going to be in the next release. This would be the second class dining saloon right here. These would be some of the aft corridors for third class. Yeah, we've got the smoking room, general room over here. We get to explore those soon enough. Oh god, where am I? Oh, okay. Someone asked for B43. B40. Ooh, that's gonna be forward. Can we actually go into there? I think the forward B deck isn't accessible. Wait a minute, is it gonna be here? Oh, right here. I can't go in there, but it would be through these doors. So through these doors would be a corridor that is basically identical to like these corridors. Oops, wrong way. Basically identical to these corridors, like this. Just a small corridor with cabins. And it would be one of those. A29. People just want to see cabin doors. I don't mind. A29. Are these labeled? They are not labeled yet, so I'm gonna have to reference the plans real quick. Let's see. A29 is, of course, on the complete opposite side of the ship. A29, you would walk in, you would walk past all of this, down here and right here. This would be A29. No, I do not work on this game. I work on Titanic Voyage. This one is Titanic Honor and Glory, who we are partnered with. So we have their permission to use images from like these demos in our game, which is fantastic because these images are going to add so much to Titanic Voyage. Titanic Voyage. I don't even know how to explain what Titanic Voyage is. Someone else could probably explain better what Titanic Voyage is. That actually might not be true. This was your cabin? Mine, what have I had? I'm gonna have to go to second class to show you a lot of my cabins. The first class cabins I know I have had... What have I had? Oh, yeah. Last year I had this one. This one. B59 was mine last year. My one first class character. I agree. The people behind this have poured like 10 years of their lives into this game, and so far they really have nothing to show for it beyond like this demo and the hard work they're putting into the alpha. I know a lot of people accuse them of being scammers, and I know I like joke around with, you know, my Tom Linsky parody character, but no, I think all of them, including Tom, really want to make this game a reality. And even though Tom has like moved on to other works now, I still think he's hoping this game succeeds, and I think it will. I think it's gonna come out in the alpha. I mean, this has proven that they can put together something like this, in my opinion. And I know the alpha isn't out yet, and it's got a long way to go, but I think it will one day be even better than this in terms of its visuals and its interactivity. It's gonna really be great, and I'm looking forward to playing it as it slowly begins developing starting next year. The alpha should begin releasing sometime next year. But yeah, just the work they've put into this is amazing, and once again, you will be able to download this for free and explore it yourself tomorrow. Look at the Titanic Honor and Glory website, really. Here, let me drop their website in the chat. So sometime tomorrow on their website there, you'll be able to download this demo and explore it yourself, and it will probably be a little improved from the version I'm playing here. It probably will have some extra bug fixes, maybe even, if we're lucky, another room or two, like those forward toilets added, so I can finally flush my toilet. But even if it was just this is still just so much of the ship available to explore in really beautiful detail with amazing lighting for free, and that's incredible that someone has done that. And I do believe that they're going to really knock this alpha out of the park once they get it going. It's always harder to start something than it is to like progress with it once you've started it, in my opinion at least, especially with a software project. The hardest part for me is that day one when you're just staring at like a blank canvas and you've got to get everything lined up and going. But once it starts going, it starts snowballing, and I bet you within a few years, like I said, that this demo will look like nothing compared to what the alpha will look like. So, any new updates of the London boat train? Yes, there are, but I can't show that yet. We're at the point where we're saving stuff for our final trailer, but I do know that there have been some recent developments with the London boat train that I'm excited for. I actually haven't even gone and looked at them yet. I've been so busy with other things and then with getting images of this that I haven't even gone and saw the London boat train stuff yet. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. What I can maybe do real fast, say final, really final this time, like wrap up for the day. So maybe I can show off just like a few of these new images that I've taken in Titanic Voyage from this very demo. So you can just get a little bit of a hint at like how much things have improved, how much they will continue to improve when the second part comes out and I need to take everything once again at night, plus some. That'll be fun. Another day of my life gone doing that, but it's all worth it in the end. I joke around about how long some of this stuff takes, but it's all worth it every April. This running again. I can't see the chat right now, but I will look at it again in a second. I'm just getting things spooled up so that I can run the voyage. And then I need to, what do I need to do? I think I need to run this real quick as well. Let me look at the chat while that's going. live stream of me being eaten by a goose if I don't wrap up soon. Will final trailer be soon? Probably. Yeah, it's anytime, usually between January to March, I'd say. I like having it out before registration. So far, I haven't done anything for it yet, but that will change. Wait a minute, could it just be? Did I need to? Oh, there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Here we go. So yeah, let's end by showing. Let's close Mega Demo first because it's gonna just eat up all my resources in the background. But let's look at a few rooms that have seen visual updates, and nothing's finalized yet. I would caution. I've literally just spent like a day taking all of these images. So nothing's 100% yet. I might still come back and retake some of these, but hopefully you can see already just how much some of these rooms have been improved with these new images. Like, for example, in the gym here, I might actually come around and take pictures of all of the different equipment, just more centered on the equipment itself, so you can actually see each individual piece. I was thinking about that earlier. Here's like the grand staircase has seen some new images as well, all taken from the demo. I like the restaurant a lot, as you know. It looks really good during the day now. I can't wait to get night images of it as well. One of my favorite images, this one here, actually loaded it right away. I always loved this viewpoint. I think I even recreated it earlier, but yeah, you can see it's here. What else? I don't want to show everything. Like the palm courts for the first time ever really look good. Temperate room that I was showing off earlier, it's got a bunch of images now. So yeah, the Titanic voyage itself looks really fresh and new, and all these images are way clearer. Like if you look at this, for example, and then I jump to a room that doesn't have these updated graphics, like the second class corridor that hasn't been updated yet, you can see how just washed out and boring these images look compared to like one of these. This is just so much more vibrant and colorful and clear. Or like, let's look at like second class saloon. Again, just very washed out, very blurry, doesn't look very good. But then if we look at first class saloon, you can see the difference immediately. So I think that all the images are gonna really, really be improved, and it should give the game a very fresh feel, I hope, next year in terms of the visuals for all the rooms. And we owe it all to Honor and Glory. So if you haven't yet, consider visiting their site in just many ways you can support them. I don't want to be a walking advertisement, but again, you can buy the deck plans, you can have a look at their store and order something off of it. There's a lot of different things you can do. Or of course you can just wait and buy the alpha when it's out. It'll be free for all of B deck, but then beyond that, you'll have to buy it to play the rest of the decks. But yeah, that's that. I'm really excited to get the second class rooms. Like, look at the smoking room. Actually, did I change it? Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, look at the smoking room. The smoking room looks so bad. It's gonna look amazing when we actually have an Honor and Glory image of it at the level of quality that we saw today. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the release on the 1st of January for the second part. That will give us second and third class rooms as well. And at nighttime, so everything I've done so far has just been daytime. We'll also have images of this level of quality for nighttime as well. So that's another thing to be excited about. Finally, very good day-night images for every public room and most of the staircases. So that's going to be great. And I think with that note, I will go ahead and end the stream because I feel like there's a riot brewing upstairs over someone who's hungry. Smoking room's horrible. I know, right? It's so bad. Like, it's gonna be so incredible. I can't wait to actually have a good image for this room at long last. Multiple ones, multiple images. I'm not just gonna take one. I think like for the first class smoking room, I took 16. So yeah, there's a lot of images for rooms now too. But anyway, yeah, I'm ending it there. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Hope deck second class staircase. That is one of the worst. You keep drawing me back in. Stop drawing me back in. Oh, that's the elevator. Whoops. There. Yeah. This. Hopefully this looks significantly better in the near future as well. We'll just have to cross our fingers and really hope they get this staircase added. But yeah. No, that's it, guys. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed this look through Titanic. And is it not Roblox? It is. I thought it was Roblox. No, stop. You distracted me again. No. Thanks for coming. I'm getting way too distracted by your conversation because I don't remember. This did get updated recently, I think. But yes, thank you for coming for like the 5th time now. The stream on the 1st will happen, I think, 12 p.m. Eastern on the 1st, where we'll go over part 2. We'll see all of the new 2nd and 3rd class areas, plus like all of Scotland Road. And we will explore these same areas we just went through in nighttime. Although I'm going to just tell you up front, I'm not going to spend as long on them. We're going to focus more on the new stuff. But yeah, we'll get nighttime exploration in as well. So that'll be exciting. So thank you for coming. We'll see you on January 1st for the next one. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm hungry as well, so I'm going to go get food. Thank you for coming along. See ya. At this point, I am just dragging it on to annoy a certain someone, but now bye for real. Thanks for coming.